Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a gorgeous little car. It's a Honda CRZ. It's the top of the range GT model, and that means it gets the leather and the glass roof, amongst other things. It covered just 37,000 miles, this car, and in absolutely beautiful condition. Going around the car, this colour looks absolutely stunning on the vehicle. The contrast with the leather is perfect. Front of the car, absolutely beautifully clean. No sort of stone chips or anything that I can see there at all. There must be something microscopic if there is. Near side, lovely angles on this car as well. What a gorgeous looking thing. And I say on lots of my CRZ videos, there's no two ways about it. This is destined for some form of kind of modern classic status, due to its rarity as much as anything else, and appeal. But it is in beautiful, beautiful condition. Around the back, again, all really clean and tidy. The silhouette is so reminiscent of the Mark 1 and Mark 2 CRXs, of which I've got one. It's uncanny, but obviously a very deliberate ploy by Honda. It works rather well, I have to say. It is hard to spot any blemish on there at all. It is in just amazing condition. Let's come into the boot area. Really big boots, even with the rear seats up. What's nice about this one, whoever's had the car has had this load liner fitted, which means the carpet underneath looks, to all intents and purposes, absolutely as new. Personally, forget the fact that it's officially a four-seated car, because that's a legroom you don't get. Literally just drop that down and end up with a massive boot. Consider this a two-seater car, no more than that. Let's come into the front on the passenger side. Again, it's absolutely beautiful condition. Leatherwork is stunning, looks fantastic. Come to the driver's door card now. Again, beautiful condition. Footwell area is lovely and clean. There is a set of mats actually, I forgot to put them in, but they are in very, very nice condition as well. And driver's seat, given the fact even with low mileage it's incredibly clean. A little bit of wear as you get in and out, and a couple of, I'm talking microscopic little marks. I'm being ridiculously fussy, but it is a wonderful example. So inside the car now, engine's running, as is always the case when I do the interior videos. The dashboard looks absolutely as new. It's incredibly clean. And it's such a wonderful, wonderful dash design, it really is. And basically, as a driver, that's a view you get, all bunched around you, beautiful dials and detailing. It is so unique, but as I said, this one's been kept absolutely beautifully. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a lovely car. It's a Honda CRZ, and it's the GT model. This particular car is registered YE60CLF with a mileage of 37,596. The reason for all of our videos, and especially this road test section, is basically so that if anyone's looking online, they can actually see the car we're advertising actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is very simple. It's so frustrating to go and see a car which can look, perfectly good in photographs and a description, but when you get there, find out it's got a fundamental issue that shows up while you're driving the car. So hence that's why we do it. We also do it on these very quiet country roads, very close to our premises. Hopefully then it'd be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So I just got to adjust something on the camera a second. There we are. I apologise, by the way, it's touch and go as whether it's getting too dark. So if it gets a bit grainy, I do apologise, but I'm really pushed to get these done. And this is the last one for the day. Coming to the car, I'll be absolutely upfront. I adore these cars, which I'll say more about later in the video. Having said that, I'll do all that I always do in these videos, go through the mechanical bits one by one, which won't be opinion, it'll just be based on kind of how it feels and fact, basically. So starting with the, affectionately called power unit of the car, which is the engine and hybrid system, it's just brilliant. It really, really is. It uses a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder Honda engine, which is, put your foot down, it's got that lovely intake sort of thrum to it. It's a lovely unit, loves to rev, really keen to go, and it's what they refer to these days as self-charging hybrid. So basically you own and run the car as you would any normal petrol car. You don't do anything different. That's as simple as that. You just, when you get low on fuel, you put fuel in. You can't run out of battery. That doesn't happen. The battery's there just to, call it IMA, integrated motor assist. It's to give you a little bit of extra power through the battery. And it's available in 3 modes. So on the right hand side of the steering wheel here, I've got normal, econ and sport. It defaults to normal when you start the car, which is quite a nice setting for the car. Car picks up and goes very well. The econ one, most people tend to use kind of around town. I've tried it, I find it a little bit too slovenly. It's not one that it's very soft on the throttle response. But I can see the virtue of it, the merit of it rather, but it's not one that I'm particularly keen on. Because I have owned, I can't remember, 3 or 4 of these, and as I often say in the videos, my first one, if I'm brutally honest, I didn't get on with, but only because I was trying to get and match or exceed even what Honda claimed you could get in the fuel economy. But to do that, I was driving it so gently and so carefully that I just wasn't getting any enjoyment out of driving the car. Basically, if you go normal, it's fine, but basically if you press the sport button, first thing you see is the instrument cluster changes to this sort of red hue behind the speedo, but touch the throttle and the throttle response is far keener, far more eager, and it's the one that when I'm ever getting one now, I just press the sport button, because the small amount you lose in economy is disproportionate to the extra performance you get, in my opinion. It's just a lovely amount of performance for the car, and it's a car that you really engage with. It's really old school. I love this car, really do. There's no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Everything's spot on in that respect. Clutch on the car, perfect as you'd expect with the mileage. It's slick and smooth in operation. And the gear change is one of the greatest front wheel drive gear changes you'll ever experience, and it starts with the gear knob itself. Funnily enough, it is perfectly shaped. I think it's the best gear knob they do. It's kind of tapered underneath with little ridges. You've got the leather around and then the kind of the silver on top. It just feels brilliant in hand. But the gear change itself is short and throw. It's incredibly crisp and accurate. Brilliant. It's a gearbox you'll enjoy using rather than having to use, and that feels absolutely as it would have done when it was new, by the way. Moving on to the chassis, so the superlatives continue, I'm afraid, because I again love it. Starting with the steering, which by the way tracks dead straight and exhibits no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, but it's a lovely power steering system compared to most modern ones, which most are electric power steering, which this one is, and that means they can be devoid of feel, weight, all sorts of things. This is perfectly done. It's incredibly accurate. Where you point it is exactly where the car goes to the millimetre, but it's got a lovely weighting to it as well, which means that even at much higher speeds, it doesn't start to feel floaty and detached and nervous. Because some people get in and think, you wonder why I love it so much. You can feel a bit kind of slow-witted almost, when you first drive them. But then it all becomes obvious the quicker you go. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Suspension, again, what I'm listening out for on these road tests is there's a really nasty series of bumps just there. And if there's any kind of sort of rattling or knocking noises from the suspension, and it would show up there, and there's nothing at all. It's absolutely rock solid. It just feels like I'm driving a brand new car in terms of how solid the car still feels, which is amazing for a 12-year-old vehicle. And the chassis, I'd say again in the adverts, it really reminds me of a kind of an 80s, 90s hot hatch. It's really keen to change direction. You don't feel as though you're hauling around loads of excess weight, which you get on loads of modern cars. So it flows through corners brilliantly well. Feels light on its feet, really keen. The flip side is it's got a wonderfully comfortable and compliant ride. It's beautifully damped. So again, the motoring press completely misunderstood the car, but that's by the by. That benefits us all now that collect them, so it goes full circle. And finally, to come inside the car, it's such a unique car. It still feels modern, beautifully built. No squeaks, no rattles, solid as a rock in every sense. But a lovely place to sit as well, especially because you've got the GT with the glass roof, so you've got a lot of natural light coming into the car. Beautiful colour scheme with the kind of the silver trim and black upper section of the dash, and then this brilliant dash design. I mean, it is brilliant because not only does it look sensational, in my eyes at least, because that is opinion, I guess, but it works. That's the joy of it. You've got this incredibly simple radio to use, climate control in a little pod there. Symmetrically on the other side, you've got controls there for your engine modes and your electric wing mirrors and traction control and various other things. Then there's almost arcade style dash design with the colours, the red, the blues. It is stunning, absolutely stunning. All working absolutely perfectly, by the way. Air conditioning, we checked it in a nice warm workshop earlier on, pumps out lovely cold air. All the buttons actuating exactly as they should. And talking of actuation, every single button, which is typical of Honda, if you press a button in a Honda, it'll give you this beautifully engineered feel to every single control you press. It's it's a stunning car, it really is. And as I said at the start of the video, the point, brief as it might well be, is just to show the car out on the road operating and to feedback on any issues, of which of course there's nothing at all. It drives as solid as a rock. Anyone who gets this next is going to be a very lucky person indeed. As always, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate, do give us a call.